We are targeting 40 people, so that's going to be a bit of a mean feat. Welcome to season 2 of FujiGirl. In this series, I'm going to use the GFX100S and I'm going to pair it with 3 different lenses, the GF80mm, 50mm and also the 30mm lens. Through setting up scenarios, going into the scene with just one lens and trying to push the lens further, find out what the lens can do. Today we're going to use the 80mm and I've decided to go on the streets to ask for portraits from strangers. I haven't done that in a while. I haven't approached people out of the blue for a long time since the pandemic, and I think it's going to be a little bit strange and also a little bit gut-bearing. I've prepared myself to be rejected, and we are going on 2 streets. The first is Orchard Road, which is the main shopping belt in Singapore, and the second is a little bit more bohemian, nested within a row of shop houses. That is Haji Lane, one of the narrowest streets in Singapore. I have 2 members of the film crew, and I also have a photography assistant to help me with the lights. So that makes 4 of us, and I'm hoping that it won't scare too many strangers away. I'm hoping that they would say yes on the streets. I'm going to shoot at f1.7. The lens allows for the separation between the subject and the background. Going long and going close allows me to rid out all other environmental nuances and just to focus on the subject's face. Because they are wearing masks, it allows me to focus on their eyes. If I'm going to use a wider lens, I would see probably too much of the environment, which I don't want and I don't care for. And also, of course, I'm not going to get such a nice bouquet. For the 80mm, there's a sweet spot, and that sweet spot occurs at the minimum focal distance, which is 70 centimeters at aperture f1.7. I'm going to stick to these settings and only adjust my shutter speed and my ISO as I go along with the shoot. My favorite part of the 80mm, besides the focal length, which is great for portraits, is how it looks at f1.7. It's how smooth and how creamy and how the subject separates itself from the background. I'm starting to photograph my subjects at a longer range at about probably 1 to 1.2 meters, and after I get a portrait of them, I'm going to move closer until I'm 70 centimeters at that sweet spot that I'm mentioning, because I think this spot is where the magic of the lens shines through, and I think this spot is where, you know, when we talk about a medium format camera and how the medium format camera can look different and, you know, has a little bit of that extra special touch. The 80mm at this point is exactly how it shows it can be different. Shooting on a large format sensor at an ultra sensitive aperture. One doesn't really see the fall off of the bouquet when you're shooting. Rather, it becomes very obvious when you put it into Lightroom and start, you know, like zooming in, and that's where you can see that the image itself looks very painterly. There is no chromatic aberration. It's like an oil painting. It's like, you know, chiaroscuro. It's like you use the brush, even the surfaces out. I hope you have enjoyed this photography sharing through setting up scenarios and examples, going into the scene with just one lens and trying to push the lens further and find out what the lens can do. One of the ways to practice your understanding of the lens is to keep it at a fixed focal length and experiment with it completely in one scenario. Try going closer, try framing singular items, framing the environment, framing people, and framing the architecture, the interiors. So by doing that, you will be able to see the limitations of your focal length, or also you may be able to find new angles for your photography, because you may have to hide, you may have to dodge, or you may have to compose differently due to your limitations. So that's all we have for season 2 of FujiGirl. I hope you have enjoyed the series, and if you have any feedback, of how the series can be improved, please write in your comments below, and please subscribe to the channel for more updates, just in case we have a season 3 coming up. Keep well, stay healthy, and be safe in photography.